Eyewitness News with Kim Bidstrup and Ian Brayshaw.
Tonight, good evening. Also tonight, Ian Brayshaw, great day of sport.
Yes, Kim, some classic cricket, racing and yachting later in the bulletin.
For thousands of others, Boxing Day was spent at the Ascot Races as the summer carnival gets into full swing. All eyes were on the main race of the day, the Australian Derby.
And they're ready to go in the BMW Australia Derby. They're racing in a Rossity.
The Australian Derby, a warm-up to next week's main event, the Perth Cup. And yesterday's Christmas celebrators today became Boxing Day bettors. Money not spent on presents soon found its way into the hands of the bookies, with hopes the Christmas outlay would be reimbursed for the run of a race. Many received a belated Christmas gift in the form of a winning wager. Popular jockey Stephen King was part of the action, hoping to repeat his Melbourne Cup victory.
I'm hoping I can do so. I've got the horses underneath me to do it, so it's up to me, I think.
The attention on the track turned to fashion, the well-dressed taking part in fashions in the field. Not to be accused of being sexist, the judges chose as a finalist the only male entrant in the fashion stakes. Alan Hind for 10 Eyewitness News.
Sport is next with Ian Brayshaw, and Sticks, what a great day for the big fella.
Certainly was, and that's first up tonight, Bruce Reid's 5-wicket haul. Also, a spectacular start to the Sydney Hobart Blue Water Classic, and we've seen the colour, now the big race, the Australian Derby.
In front, on the outside, All Roll trying to pick it back. They're followed further back late by Loudonham, but Arosity has got the Derby won, and Arosity wins by a length.
But swinging the bend, and the favourite kick clear.
Arosity raced to the front now. The favourite took the lead in the Derby. It's Arosity getting away from Baldivo. Then I'll roll into the clear, running on pretty well, and further back in the field at the head of the others would have been Bordershine. Arosity out 3 lengths in front. On the outside, I'll roll trying to pick it back. They're followed further back late by Loudonham, but Arosity has got the Derby won, and Arosity wins by a length and 3/4 to I'll roll.
Good evening, everyone. India has staged a great fight back on day one of the second test against Australia at the MCG. Thanks to Bruce Reid, the Aussies were well in command early, but they couldn't complete the kill, and India battled on to be 9 for 243 at stumps.
The Indian openers contributed just 11 runs before Shrikant played a shot which looked more like park cricket, and the safe hands of Boone did the rest. Prabhakar was surprisingly promoted to number 3, and this was his first ball. That was 2 for 11. It should have been 3 for 19, except for an uncharacteristic error at first slip by Mark Taylor. Then, last ball before lunch, Shastri departed. Reid had 3 for 10, and India were reeling at 3 for 61. After lunch and the addition of 3 more runs, Manjrekar was the next to go, caught by Mark Waugh from that man Reid. Then controversy. The Aussies were sure that Waugh had caught skipper Azharuddin, but the umpires weren't as certain, despite Border's protests. The replay showed the officials were right, but it mattered little, Azharuddin playing an awful shot minutes later to be gone for 22. Without addition to the score, Vengsarkar played a similarly terrible shot, holing out to Reid off Hughes, and when youngster Tendulkar gave Reid his 5th victim, the Indians headed for tea in deep trouble at 7 for 145. Worse was to come after the interval. Kapil Dev out for 19, attempting to hook McDermott. But then, even though Moray and Raju took their fair share of punishment, the pint-sized pair frustrated the Australian attack, taking their partnership past 50. Both batsmen managing to survive a couple of incidents. The Indians crept past the 200 mark, thanks to an uncharacteristically bad day in the field for Australia. The more than troublesome stand had produced 77 when Hughes picked up Raju for 31. Shortly before stumps, Moray brought up what was, in the circumstances, a very meritorious half-century. India 9 for 243 at the close.
To harness racing now, and star New South Wales pacer Westburn Grant will start in a prelude of the Benson and Hedges Cup tomorrow night, despite tragedy this week for the family of his part owner and trainer. Vic and Margaret Foss' son Glenn will travel tomorrow to Perth for the drive. The leading yachts are duelling hard for clear water as the fleet continues down the coast in the Sydney to Hobart race. 2UE Mitre 10 has snatched a 2.5-mile lead from race favourite Amazon, which had led the fleet through the heads after a spectacular start on Sydney Harbour.
3, 2, 1.
Ideal sailing conditions as Sydney Harbour celebrated the beginning of the 47th Blue Water Classic. Thousands of spectators in boats and many more lining the foreshores saw the 100-strong fleet get off to a perfect start. Sailing in a 10 to 15 knot nor'easter, Brindabella stuck to the middle of the course and got the best of a slow start. But Peter Walker, skipper of race favourite Amazon, called on all his local knowledge.
Oh, the eastern side of the harbour, as we predicted earlier, was really paying dividends.
Tracking the eastern side of the harbour, he embarked on a tacking duel with Brindabella.
Amazon's taken the lead here, and it's got quite a commanding lead over Brindabella.
It was pure match racing between the two leading contenders. Amazon's crew, egos down from missing the start, had their flagging confidence boosted when they were first out through the head.
Amazon tacking directly to windward and going around the mark.
Amazon eventually opened up a 40-second lead as it rounded the seaward mark, unfurling her spinnaker on the windward run south. Brindabella was second through the heads, followed by Freight Train. Russell Fairfax, 10 Eyewitness News.
And that wraps up sport for tonight. Robin Turner's next with the weather.